ProPresenter is our favorite presentation software for churches. You got your lyrics, you got your media, you got your slides all in one, and it can live stream for you. But if you want to use Ecamm and have the control of Ecamm, and you're happy with Ecamm just like I am, bringing in ProPresenter can seem daunting, but today we're going to walk through it step by step so you can get ProPresenter into Ecamm and stream your lyrics, your media professionally as it's running from your presentation computer. My name is Justin Nava. I'm with the Church Media guys, and we are here to teach you how to leverage technology, amplify the gospel, and change more lives. Wherever you're watching this, we're broadcasting this multicast on YouTube, Facebook, across multiple channels on each. But wherever you're watching on, be sure to subscribe. And this little graphic here brought to you by another Ecamm user and content creator, Kevin Kobe. It inspired me to do some custom graphics. So remember, again, to subscribe to the channel that you're watching on so you don't miss another video. Speaking of missing things, I miss already. We are just a few minutes into the live show and I miss my partner. So let me bring him on, Dave Curley. Dave, how are you today, sir?
Can I talk now?
You may talk, yes.
I'm good. I'm good. I hope you guys are doing well. This is it's going to be a good little lesson today, a good little talk today. We get this a lot. One of the main things that everyone wants to do is incorporate their worship set or their worship graphics and maybe even some videos that are being played, live during the worship service. They want to be able to incorporate it into their live stream, and so we're going to go over a few things that you need to do. Talking about ProPresenter, Justin, that's kind of the industry standard as far as church worship display software, presentation software goes. If you don't know what ProPresenter is, and you're still using something like Keynote or PowerPoint, take those and put them on steroids without the rage issues, and you're going to have ProPresenter. It's really thorough. It's really cool. And then there's others that are out there. There's what were we talking about? Proclaim and Easy Worship. Some others out there. You and I are more familiar with ProPresenter than we are with those others. We haven't. I mean, we don't use it at our church. We don't use Proclaim or Easy Worship at our church. But it's my understanding that the basics as far as what they do is going to be just the same. You're going to have a mission control and you're going to have outputs and stuff. And as long as we're going to be talking specifically today about NDI and incorporating NDI into our workflow. And as long as those things are putting out NDI, it should roughly be the same. We're going to show you in ProPresenter, but the menus are going to look different and stuff, but the basic concepts are going to be the same.
Basic concepts are the same. So question of the day, what presentation software are you using for your church? We'd like to know. So we're gonna talk specifically about ProPresenter because that's what most people use. It's in our opinion the best software. It's the industry standard, as Dave said. Also, question of the day, in case you were wondering, what's up with Justin's hair?
Yeah, what about?
We're coming off of Labor Day weekend. It's one of those days where I'm wearing my Crocs and my swimsuit all day, and we were swimming. Nope. Not today, but over the weekend. And my wife was like, "Hey, your hair looks pretty good when it's down. Maybe it's time to consider a change." So, sub question of the day: hair. Do I need to go? Should I go get a haircut, or do you think there's something here? I didn't want to go get a haircut. Now Dave says, no, okay, I'm going to go while Dave's talking today, I'm going to schedule a haircut because, I don't know, it's long, but I need to go ahead and get a cut. So I'll tell you what, Dave, I'll go ahead and get them all cut for you. Okay. Before we get started, just a reminder, we are talking about Ecamm Live, and this show is brought to you by Ecamm. We are using Ecamm to stream it, and Dave is the tech guy. He's been doing live streaming, church media ministry, everything to do with technology in church. He's been doing that for how long, Dave? 25 years? Something like that?
In one phase or fashion. If you want to get really technical, I was doing it like in the early 80s.
Early 80s, before I was even a good idea or an idea at all. So Dave's been doing it for decades, and I've been doing it for just a couple years. And while Dave can come in here and tweak knobs and do all these things and worry about uprate, bitrate, bandwidth, and all the other stuff, I'm just like, what's going on? So I found Ecamm Live, and I fell in love with it. I love that I can just use it, start streaming. I can do things like this lower third and bring in pop-ups, bring in guests. And, actually for a year and a half or so, I ran it with my church. I ran the live stream with Ecamm, and I really enjoyed it. So if you want to try it yourself, if you're tired of the technology, or if you just don't have time to figure it out yourself, we love hackers. We love people that figure out and do it themselves. But if that's not you, getecamm.com will get you a 14-day free trial with no credit card, so you can experiment with it, play with it, test it, try it out for yourself. That's getecamm.com. So we're talking about ProPresenter today, and again, speaking of, I don't do technology. I don't do a lot of technology, Dave. I just I do my best, but I am better at finding the people that can do it, so I can focus on other things, focus on the overall strategy and focus on the people. And I'll let the techies do the tech stuff because y'all are really good at it. So Dave actually had ProPresenter prepared and everything to show you and everything. But I kind of prepared it myself and was like, if I can do it, I mean, really, honestly, if Justin can do it, so can you. It's a bit of that. If you imagine like an infomercial, like I'm just constantly being filmed in black and white when it comes to the tech stuff. And I'm like trying to type and then the computer breaks in half. And I'm like, oh, aren't you tired of this happening to you? Use Ecamm Live. So we're gonna go through getting ProPresenter set up into Ecamm. Now, I actually prepared to do two things because I know Ecamm has notes or help articles for both. So I will show both. However, I will show both setting up Ecamm on the same computer as your ProPresenter machine if you have one computer, and setting it up as if you had Ecamm on a different computer. Dave, can you please walk us through why the end goal should be to have two computers, a presentation computer and a streaming computer?
Yes, absolutely. Two major reasons. First off, there's a lot going on when you're doing a live stream. For example, our live stream right now, let's see, are you doing the HD one out of your house? You are, right?
I'm sorry, I was reading the comments. What'd you say?
Are you live streaming HD from your house?
Yes.
You can. Okay. So right now, Justin is encoding a 1920 by 1080 H.264 stream. Okay. That's, an MP4 stream. Okay.
See, already I'm falling asleep, Dave. This is why I need you here to tell me what's good, because I can't figure that out myself.
Right. So he's actually doing two encoding sessions because he's also recording this. So what's happening is his CPU on his i5, he's using an i5, I know. His CPU is being hammered. It's getting used a whole lot right now. Now, if he were also doing a presentation using, say, ProPresenter, which takes up a lot of memory and a lot of GPU and all this kind of stuff, and had multiple displays going on because he was sending it out to a splitter that is then sending it out to a couple of a couple of screens, big, what are they called? Projectors. Thank you. And then he also has a screen that's being sent to a television that is in the back of the room that has the stage display on, and maybe he's also sending it over AirPlay to the one that's on the stage that has Apple TV connected to it. He is really going to be using the resources of that machine, and now he's streaming and encoding two sessions on there. He's doing a stream and he's doing a recording. He's pushing the limits of the machine, and something's going to start bogging down. And I don't care how beefy your machine is, you're running into some logistics issues when you're trying to change cameras, for one thing, using Ecamm, or trying to change the slides. How can you be doing these at the same time? Because when you're using ProPresenter or Proclaim or Easy Worship or whatever, and you've got all your different words and you're listening to the song and you're making sure that you're hitting the space bar or hitting the arrow to go to the next slide at the appropriate time, how are you also jumping off and changing cameras? You're doing too much. Don't do that. So get two machines. That should always be the goal, because things are going to get a lot higher quality and be a lot smoother if you do that, close parentheses.
So it's just like if you're tasked with carrying a bowling ball, which would be streaming, and carrying some butter, which would be Ecamm Live, or your streaming, your presentation. Okay, let me start. A bowling ball, which is your streaming software, or butter, which is your presentation software. If you carry them separately, you have no problems. However, when you put them together, you've now got a slippery, buttery bowling ball, and that's harder to carry. And you're going to be walking to catch the bowling ball when it falls, or if it just flat out falls, you have to stop, bend over, and pick it up, and you have a hard time carrying both of those items at the same time.
Exactly.
So your computer will have the same issue. It can carry a bowling ball, it can carry some butter, but once you put them together, you have some issues. This has been Justin puts it into food terms.
You didn't have breakfast yet, did you?
Nope, no breakfast till after the show. That's my new rule. So let's get into ProPresenter. I'm going to walk through getting NDI set up. And again, this is a very, very basic setup. Dave, if you see me miss something, call me out. But this is how I tested it this morning, and it ran smooth. Go ahead.
Real quick, let's tell everybody what NDI is. NDI.
Sure, yes, please do.
Okay, so everybody should be familiar with the idea of connecting up a cable and sending the video out to a monitor, to can't say the word projector today, to a projector.
You ate breakfast this morning, didn't you?
I did. So we all understand that. You know, you've got a display output, and you plug in a cable and it goes to a projector and it sends it out there. Okay. Well, video goes the other direction, right? So we have capture cards, we have Elgato Cam links, or we've got the little WeStar box, or we've got Black Magic cards, or whatever that we put in the machines. USB dongles and stuff. We take our camera, HDMI into it. Okay. Now that is how you get a video signal coming in to your machine normally. There's something called NDI. It stands for Network Device Interface. Okay, and what it does is it basically lets you the easiest way to think about it is it can take a video signal and it can put it out on your network so that other things on your network, like Ecamm or OBS or vMix or any other various pieces of software that can see NDI signals, it will say, oh, look, there's a video source out there. Oh, I can have this video source come in. So what we're doing is basically doing virtual camera outputs or virtual projector outputs from, in this case, ProPresenter or Easy Worship or Proclaim. And then in our software, Ecamm, we've got a virtual camera input. Okay, so NDI is what lets you do that. It lets you send high quality audio and video over the network as a virtual webcam, basically. Okay, now it's really important, and I cannot stress this enough. If you want this to go real smooth, you're going to have a little switch at your desk, and you're going to have your computers hardwired to it. If you want it to go glitchy and give you all kinds of problems and lag issues and not be fun at all and be behind and all this kind of stuff, then use Wi-Fi. So always, 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 always hardwire whenever possible. Don't rely on Wi-Fi, guys.
Dave, you need to take a seat. You've been standing on that soapbox for a little bit. You need to take a break there.
That's one of the core things. And
we're punching the buttons. Okay, so let me go into my screen now and let's look at ProPresenter. I'm going to do it in 3 steps. Okay, first we're going to set up NDI, and I'm going to show you what that looks like if you just send an NDI signal of your titles, okay, or whatever's on your ProPresenter screen. Then I'm going to show you how to set up an actual separate signal, so that way you in your church can show full screen lyrics, whatever is going on there. But then in your Ecamm, you'll actually be receiving lower third lyrics, so you can still have your pastor or worship band.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
What's up?
Did you install the NDI tools?
No.
Okay.
I'm doing straight ProPresenter 7.
No, I know, but just for monitoring, it's easy to have that NDI video monitor open, so you can choose the sources and show that they're being put out on your network without actually having to go in and try to bring them into other software.
Okay. So let's go into the walkthrough. All right, so I got here on my screen, you can see ProPresenter. Now, remember, this is ProPresenter 7. ProPresenter 6 is a lot different, and you have to purchase the NDI plugin, which in that case, I would suggest you go ahead and just update to ProPresenter 7. So I've got ProPresenter 7 here. Let me clear my work area here that you can't see, but it's all over my screen. By the way, Garrett said that he tried using ProPresenter and Ecamm on the same machine, and it did not work well. Don't do it. So make sure you get a second screen there. Okay, so we are in my screen here. And what we're going to do first is set up NDI. So in ProPresenter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the top menu, and I'm going to select Screens. And then I'm going to go to Configure Screens. That will bring up another option, another box that looks like this. Okay, so you've already got a screen set up for your audience. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the plus button and you're going to say new NDI and you're going to select your output. For the purposes of this one, I'm just going to select 720. Okay, and it says NDI, I'm sending it out full. You can alpha key it if you want. I suggest you do. And there you go. So now I am sending out, if I bring my lyrics up, I am sending out to screen 1 and I can preview screen 2. Let me actually go back and I'm going to rename it so that way I don't get confused. I'm going to name screen 2 NDI. Okay. So now when I go into Ecamm, Ecamm is always looking for NDI sources. So when I go back to myself, you can see me. Let me take off my name tag here. Ecamm is now picking up an NDI signal from ProPresenter. So if I go to the bottom of Ecamm and I click on NDI from PowerPoint, or excuse me, ProPresenter, boom, on screen, you've got the lyrics, you've got whatever's on the screen that ProPresenter is putting out, it's just basically shooting out with NDI. So this is cool if you're happy with just lyrics being on screen, full screen, just as it is. It's basically mirroring what you're showing in your church, okay? And we are presenting this in both your meeting in church and your meeting online, okay? So that's the super basic thing. All right, so let me go back to me, and I'm going to go back to ProPresenter. So what if we want to do, we want to have this screen here, this preview screen showing in the church, but also we want to have the worship band on screen, or we want to have, scripture in the lower thirds, but we want to be able to see the preacher. That is where looks is going to come into. So first I'm going to create a theme of lower thirds, and then I'm going to tell it anything that goes to the NDI source is going to be a lower third. So first I'm going to create a new theme, and I'm going to call it Ecamm Live, or I'll call it Ecamm Lower Thirds. Okay, and this is where I'm going to tell it. This is like a template of what everything should look like. So really basic. I'm going to bring in like a lower third graphic. Okay, and I'm going to center it once I get everything again out of my workspace. Boom. And then I'm going to bring the text down. Whoops, and I got to put the text above the lower third. There we go. And you can do whatever editing you want to the text. I'm just going to real quick make the text bigger.
By the way, you're going to want to extend that edit box all the way to the edges of the screen so you don't end up with
yes.
words get cut off.
Yeah. See, already, like even just doing this stuff and running Ecamm on the same device, it's a little hiccupy. So just editing stuff, but real basic. This is like a lower third. Okay. So this is Ecamm lower third. There's going to be a color bar at the bottom. You can do whatever you want to do, however you want it to look like. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my show, and I'm going to go to, again, that screens button in the menu bar, and I'm going to go to edit looks. And you see this box that pops up that says screen 1 is showing everything. NDI is showing everything. I want instead the NDI, I want it to show not props, I just want it to show the slide for lyrics. And then for the presentation, I'm going to say I want it to use the Ecamm lower thirds scene. Okay. So now what happens is we are showing the slides here in the church louder and louder. You're going to hear my praise war. But in NDI, if I go back to me, I now have the NDI signal is coming in under that lower thirds theme. Let me go to the NDI. Whoops, I did a replace. There we go. Wait, hang on. Why is it doing picture in picture? Let's do this. Oh, that's weird. Okay, I messed it up.
Because you've got one on and then you've overlaid the other.
There we go. Well, let me make that. Let me fix that. I think that was from my playing around earlier. Okay, there we go. So we got me, and then I add the NDI on top, and I have the lower third here. Hello, I'm like Mr. Neighbor. I have the lyrics coming down below. And so as I switch, yep, there's the unregistered thing. So if I go back to ProPresenter, you can see that we are outputting lyrics to the church. That's screen 1. But if I go to screen 2, you can see that. Alpha? Yeah. But if I go to it'll work on the stream. Don't worry. And then if I go to NDI2 under the preview here, you can see that it is just putting out the lower third. So this is how you can tell what's going on different. And like Dave said, you can set up monitors and all that stuff. But real quick, just for this demo, we have the full screen lyrics going to the audience, but here on Ecamm Live, we have me with the lower third. And as I switch it, you'll see the lower third switches with me. So real super simple. This is how you can do that. So this is like lower thirds, and then everything coming through here is lower thirds, right? So once the pastor gets up and wants full screen lyrics, or once you're playing media, it's going to get changed back to that lower thirds look. So what I would do is go back to ProPresenter, and I'm going to make a third screen, and I'm going to do another NDI, and I'm going to call this one full screen NDI. Okay. And if I go back to my looks, this shows that, you know, the NDI here is just slides. I should title it better, but then the full screen is the full screen. So now when I go back to Ecamm, all I have to do, I can go back to me, and I'm putting out 2 NDI signals. So I can say, you know, here's my lower thirds, but then I can also go to the full Monty there. I don't know if I should have said that, but anyways, so you can see that. Now, as I'm doing all this, Dave,
yes,
my computer is about to melt.
You're doing it on the i5, aren't you?
I'm doing it on the i5. It's all here. But that is super basic. So what I would do, again, is set up the 2 this is what I would do. Dave, you can come in just a second. I would set up the 2 NDI sends and say NDI send 1 is lower thirds, and theme it just like I showed you here. Just hit rewind and go watch that again. Follow that step by step. Lower thirds, and then all your lyrics are coming in as lower thirds. And then I would set up a second signal that says full screen, show them everything. That way, if I go to a movie, if I go to a video, if I go to announcements or whatever, you can actually set up how it looks, and you can set up multiple sends if you want. That's how you're going to get it. And then on the other computer running Ecamm, it's going to automatically detect that NDI output, which is coming in, I guess, NDI input. And then you have that as an option of a camera. So just as you would switch cameras at the bottom of Ecamm, you can switch to those NDIs. Dave, before I show real quick, Syphon, when you're running it on the same computer, and I mean literally, this is only if like you're waiting till next week to get the computer because you've already ordered it. I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Anything else that you would do or anything you would add to what I just did? Mine was a super basic setup. Anything else we should consider?
Well, no, I mean, I think you got it. The thing I would do is I would take that full screen, one and go ahead and make that as a source so that you're not like just switching cameras left and right all the time. Go ahead and set up your sources so that you can be real clean in, you know, using your keys on your keyboard or using the Stream Deck or whatever to pop back and forth to those things, and then use that that one primary one or if you have multiple camera inputs, then you can use that one overlay that is the lower third. Use that, kind of call it up and have it as necessary. And just be careful. You know, Justin, you did a really quick down and dirty setup and all that, but just work with your visuals and make sure that that things are sized and done appropriately. You put a really pretty colored background and stuff. For doing a live stream, I probably wouldn't do that. I would do maybe say a black bar and then make it say half opaque or something so that it stands out just a little bit, but doesn't completely obscure the image. You know,
the assets I used today, that background and lower third, is actually one of several that are provided by Renewed Vision. So again, for that quick and dirty, I wanted to go ahead and grab that. But absolutely, do not do it as fast as I did.
Yeah,
just spend some time with it.
Time and get your design and stuff working. But if you do this right, it's going to work. And then, of course, if you're using ProPresenter 6, then you can use Syphon and basically just set it up to be your, you know, like the screen, the actual full screen.
Yep. And then additionally, Sydney commented, I'm guessing they just came in, do we need to hardwire to both computers?
Always.
Yes. It's like, do I need to eat healthy? Yeah, you should. It's a good idea. Justin, bringing it back to food. Yeah, anytime you go wireless with NDI, you are taking a lot of risk. That is a high risk investment.
And so is live streaming.
Often doesn't pay off.
Yeah. Anytime you're live streaming, you should always be doing your live streaming hardwired.
Yeah.
because think about where you are. You're in a room with 100 people that all have phones and tablets, and they're all connected to the network at some point. And unless your network is like super optimized, you're going to be having issues where you're getting delays and things like that. So always hardwire. Don't rely on Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is great for convenience of running around your house and not having to drag a cable with you and stuff like that. But when it comes to a production environment, which is where we are, we're in a production environment, we need to try to maximize our equipment and our workflow and our pathways as much as possible. So think in that term so that we can serve the viewer the cleanest, best, smoothest, least laggy experience possible.
I really like how you said that, so velvety, smooth, and least laggy, Dave. Let me show you real quick. Again, if you order your computer and it's a couple weeks away, like if you order from Apple and you're waiting for it to come in or whatever the case, if you're waiting for that computer and you need to get live streaming now, let me show you real quick something else to do. So that uses Syphon, that if you're on the same machine, you can run ProPresenter and Ecamm on the same time. So let me share my screen here and go back to ProPresenter. I'm going to go back to screens and I'm going to go to configure screens. And basically everything we just did, let me delete that and delete that. We're going to do with a different setting called Syphon. So Syphon, same computer, NDI, different computer. So I'm going to call this screen 2. I'm going to call it Syphon. And same thing, I'm going to go to the screens, edit looks. And I'm going to tell Syphon, hey, just show the slide and just show the lower third template. Okay. So now as I play this, I can see that my Syphon is putting out lower thirds. And if I go back to my Ecamm and I go to ProPresenter, we have the lower third here. And it's coming in straight from ProPresenter and not the network, right? Is NDI always sending out to the network? So I'm just doing a big loop.
Yeah.
Whereas Syphon keeps it in the machine.
Right, it broadcasts it out to the network.
Yeah.
So basically, anything out there, and it doesn't like lock the signal down to what's being received. So I could have 5 computers on our network, all running Ecamm, and each one of them would be able to see this as a source that's on the network and pull it in and use it appropriately.
Yeah, 100%. And whereas Syphon keeps it in the machine, so it's a little. If you're doing it just there, then Syphon would be the best option. While you wait for your streaming computer or your new presentation computer to arrive. And I really liked what Dave said. So I'm sitting here and I'm saying, okay, I want my camera. I want to add the ProPresenter. Then I want to take it away. I'm doing it by choosing input sources on this one scene in OBS. But Dave did clarify, and I'm glad he did. You want to set them up as separate sources. So just like I can take my hand, this is my mouse hand. This is what I move my mouse with. Just like I can sit here and change scenes with a keystroke, I cannot do that with changing inputs here on my one screen. So if you set up the different sources, and I can't record my Ecamm screen to do that for you here on the live show, but if you set them up as different sources, add a source and say, I want this one to have the lower third, title it lower third, then all you got to do is just with one hand change scenes, just like I'm doing here, which is one of the things that I love about Ecamm. You don't have to buy separate equipment. The keystrokes are already set up for you. Really super simple. Set them up in separate scenes. Quick question, Dave. Wayne has a question just about ProPresenter in general.
Okay.
When he preps slides for ProPresenter, does he need to be at that computer, that presentation computer at church, or is there a way to prep slides from his laptop at home?
He'll need to save that whole mess onto a stick and bring it with him, I guess, and load it up.
Yeah, pretty much. You can do. I'm
not aware of like a like with Adobe, we've got the Creative Cloud where we can actually like house projects in the cloud, and like you could access them or I could access them. To my knowledge, I don't think there's anything like that Renewed Vision has. I don't know. You'd have to check their website or something, but they have a cloud option. I don't know exactly how it works because I never used it. What we did was we had the people in our office making the slides. We had the library saved on a network drive. So basically we just had it hooked up to the network drive and all the computers talked to that one drive. So we would do edits on that Dropbox. Yeah, you could. Yeah. I don't know if ProPresenter will pull it from the Dropbox though on a Sunday morning. Like it was easy because it was on campus. It was on premise. It was a physical network drive. Cloud, we'd have to look up into that. if you're using Dropbox, just use Dropbox the way it was meant to be used. Install the Dropbox app on the machine and sync that folder or whatever series of folders that you have so on the various machines so that they are available locally. That's the key. A lot of people use Dropbox through the browser, which is fine if you need to go grab something here and there, but not if you want to actually use these files on a regular basis. Sync them locally. We have hard drives. Let's use them.
Stop making so much sense, Dave. Dave is going to go into how to use NDI in general to bring in any source, whether you're using Keynote, PowerPoint, Proclaim, Easy Worship. The Ecamm actually has a really good article too on how to get Proclaim using NDI scan converter. Dave, is that what you're going to show us here today?
Yeah.
Output. So the same thing you'll visually see it here. While Dave gets that set up, let me tell you, September 29th and September 30th is the Church Marketing Conference. This is a conference online, 100% free. So like with any conference this year, no plane ticket, no hotel, no babysitter to pay for, no meal per diem, no keeping receipts and bringing them back and then losing them, or they're in your wallet and the ink gets rubbed off and you're like, I swear I spent $79 on this dinner. I swear, please reimburse me. That didn't actually happen. That was just a story I made up right now. Instead of all the stuff that comes with physical conferences, Church Marketing Conference is online, and you can get your free ticket, churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket, churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket. That is our referral link. And what you get with that conference is you do not get some half-baked blog turned into video. I've heard all this before. You watch the videos and then you get a bunch of emails that say, hey, pay for the on-demand premium package, and you get the videos that you can watch again. Church Marketing Conference is not that, which is why I'm pushing it so hard, because it's so different, and I love it when people do things differently. What this is a conference where you will get a 12-month plan to market and build out your church communications strategy. You'll be able to plan out your church communication strategy. So you'll come in. Every video is not just some recorded and just canned video. Every video builds upon itself. And when you're done with that, you also get a free workbook to watch the videos with and take your own notes and build your own plan. When you're done with the conference, you're going to have a 12-month plan to market your church. You walk away for free. That's what you got. You know what to do. You know the next steps you can implement and change lives. And that's what I love about this conference. So it's 100% free, September 29th and 30th. Watch it live, take notes in your workbook, and walk out with a 12-month plan. churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket. We'll tell them that we sent you. I'll be there with bells on. You may not see it because I'm on the other side of the computer. But go get your free ticket, churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket. This is an organization, Church Marketing University, run by Ryan Wakefield. Fantastic dude, knows what he's talking about. Not a drifter, not a grifter either. So Church Training Academy. Not a grifter or a drifter. churchtrainingacademy.com/free ticket. All right, Dave, you ready to show us how NDI works in general with other programs?
Absolutely.
All right, let me know when you want me to share your screen.
Share my screen.
All right, there you go. There's the keyword.
Okay. Let me know when I'm hot.
You're good.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. All right. Well, first things first, folks, we're going to need to grab a couple of really cool tools. And I say you should always have these on machines that you're doing any kind of production work. You need to go to ndi.tv. This is a website from our friends over at NewTek. NewTek is the people that created NDI, created that video standard, that protocol. And they have some free tools for us right up here where it says NDI tools. Click on that, and then you can go through. Let's see. Okay, it uses cookies. Good. Wow, are they still doing that? Let's see. NDI tools. So we've got a whole bunch of different tools that are available that will help you with NDI. NDI Studio Monitor. We've got Scan Converter, Virtual Input. That's cool because it's basically a webcam. You got a VLC plugin, so you can take your VLC videos and send them out over the network via NDI. You've got test patterns. You've got access for Adobe Creative Cloud. I mean, it's really cool. So let's just go ahead and scroll down to the bottom where we have our downloads. And so you'll need to get your NDI tools. We're on a Mac platform, so grab those and get them installed. Once you have them installed, then for the sake of argument, we're going to use Keynote. Keynote is what comes with your Mac. It's their answer to PowerPoint. I will tell you, come back to me real quick. I will tell you that I don't recommend using Keynote for doing this, because when you do a presentation in Keynote, it takes over your entire machine. Okay, it's not like ProPresenter. Keynote is going to basically turn off all your monitors and have one of them that has the presentation out there. Or if you're doing it in presenter mode, where like on like if you're public speaking or something, and you would have like your laptop and it would show you the current slide that you're on, this presenter mode, the current slide you're on, and then the next slide that's coming up, and then the second monitor would have like the full screen running. So this is really not the software to use to do that. Just using it as an example. Okay, so come back to the screen.
Good.
Okay, so first things first, once you've installed your NDI tools, one of them is called NDI Scan Converter. So we're going to bring that up, NDI Scan Converter. And that's it. You probably can't even see it. Down at the bottom, little app is running, NDI Scan Converter. What it does, oops, let me activate it again. What it does is it takes what's on your screen or what you tell it and makes an NDI signal out of it and broadcasts it over your network. So, look, if I hit play right here, like I said, it takes over your whole screen, and I can't run my menus, I can't do anything. So we won't do that in here. But you can, with NDI Scan Converter running, go to File, and then you can choose what to send, like the desktop. So my entire desktop right now is going out. In fact, I'm going to prove that to you by opening up another NDI tool, which is the NDI Video Monitor. Here is the Video Monitor. I'm just going to move this off to the side here, and we will go File, and we will choose what is out there. You can see I've got a MacBook Pro out there actually running lower third lyrics and full screen graphics and things like that. But for Dave Curley's iMac Local, Scan Converter, and what's it sending? Boom, it's sending the desktop. So it's sending both of my monitors, okay? Now, if I want it to just send Keynote, then I'm going to activate Scan Converter, go back over to File, and go down and choose the app or window that I want running, Keynote. And in this case, it's just the single screen. So Keynote by itself, just the Keynote program. If I were to hit play, then it would be showing the actual presentation. Really hard to do using Keynote, but if you're using ProPresenter or one of the other apps, it is a whole lot easier to do. But this is what would be going out, and you would be seeing this in Ecamm as one of your sources to. Where did you go? There you are.
I had to get something. To answer a question in the chat.
No problem. Go ahead and cut back to the full screen, or cut me real quick.
Cut back to you. Gotcha.
Thank you. So one of the ways that I use this at our church before we upgraded to ProPresenter 7 was we were using ProPresenter 6, and with ProPresenter, and I would, like I say, I don't use Proclaim, I don't use Easy Worship, but I'm going to assume that they're following the same type of model. So when you're running ProPresenter, you have the ProPresenter application window running, and then you are telling it that display number 2 or whatever is where the full screen of your graphics and stuff is going. Okay, so if I've got a splitter that has my projectors on it, and that's seen as display 2, and when you go and take a look at your display preferences, and you can see there's your 5K iMac, and then you've got your 1920 by 1080 screen that is your projectors, and then you've got the 4K television that you're sending the stage display stuff to. You see all those listed there, right? So when you're running the Scan Converter, you can then go and choose, like you saw me choose, the app Keynote. Well, if you were to choose ProPresenter, it would then show you those displays, those windows that are out there for ProPresenter. And you could say, hey, the 1920 by 1080 HD display, and basically that gets cast over the network using the Scan Converter, and now you've got that full screen 1080 image that is available on your network to bring in as a full screen into Ecamm. Trying to do the lower thirds, you're going to have to do something else. For me, the hack was to also grab my my stage display and then crop it and position it in my TriCaster and kind of fake the lower thirds, because I was only using a portion of that screen and I'd cropped it and did all, So there's ways to fake it and stuff. But for the basic idea of getting full screen graphics, using the NDI scan converter works really well. Your mileage may vary if you're using something besides ProPresenter. If you're using more business-oriented presentation software, Keynote, PowerPoint, they are not meant to be used like ProPresenter is. ProPresenter is for someone to be broadcasting on monitors in front of a crowd, all sorts of. It's like broadcast software, like Ecamm or vMix or a TriCaster or something, specifically designed for the people that are sitting there. So you've got a master control that you can control everything inside the app without messing things up, right? But when you're using something like ProPresenter, Keynote or PowerPoint, those are designed for me, the guy who's doing the presentation in front of you, and I need to see what slides are coming up. So this right here on my monitor, and I'm not on my laptop, and I'm not being distracted by that. And then on the big screen is what you guys are looking at, So it's not optimal, but you can do it. But the scan converter, NDI scan converter, is your friend. And I would definitely recommend that you play with it. Here's a caveat. It doesn't play well when you upgrade to ProPresenter 7. And when I say it doesn't play well, that doesn't mean they can't be on the same system and used at different times. They really can't be used together because it gets confused. Okay, so when you upgrade to ProPresenter 7 and you start creating NDI signals, let ProPresenter start sending out the NDI signals on your network. Turn off the scan converter. Don't have it running or anything because things can get confused.
There's a couple good tech questions. We'll get to those in the post show. But Nadia said something that speaks to my heart, Dave, and that's why I had to leave real quick to get something. Nadia said, she's watching on the Ecamm stream. She said, I'm a non-tech savvy. Why can't we use one streaming software for full production in general instead of Ecamm, ProPresenter? Why can't one software do it all? And to that, I always say, use the right tool for the job. Right. I always have with me, this is the best Valentine's gift I ever got from my wife.
Happy for that to happen.
This is the best Valentine's gift I ever got from my wife. She insists on getting me a Valentine's Day gift, so I make sure she gets me manly stuff so I don't feel bad. This is a Leatherman Swiss Army knife, right? This is a great tool for a lot of things. It's got a knife, it's got little pliers here, and it's got a little screwdriver here that I can switch out to Phillips or standard, whatever, flathead. I also like to cook. In fact, yesterday I cooked about 3 pounds of chicken fajitas.
Nice.
I did not get my Swiss Army knife to cut up those fajitas. I used a chef's knife. When I'm building furniture, I do not say, where's my Swiss Army knife? I say, where's my toolbox? I need a screwdriver because my hand is going to cramp. If I try to use this screwdriver, it also only has that one size bit. My hand is going to cramp. As you can see, there's no good way to hold this. This is great for quick jobs. It's great when I'm out that I need to fix something, correct something, repair something, cut something, get something loose. This Swiss Army knife is a great tool when I'm out and I need something quick, right? Like if I'm changing my daughter's batteries, and of her toy, I'm going to use this screwdriver instead of digging in my toolbox for a correct one. But when it comes to heavy duty work, if I'm putting together furniture, if I am disassembling something, if I'm repairing something, I'm going to get an actual screwdriver out of my toolbox that is fit for that job. It's got a correct handle. It's got proper torque. It's made out of a better metal. And when I'm cutting up meat or when I'm dicing up an onion, I'm going to use a chef's knife in the kitchen because that is what it's made for. It's weighted properly. It's sharpened correctly. It's honed properly. It's got the best metal so the stuff doesn't stick to it, and it's easy to clean, right? This knife is not easy to clean. I would never cut raw meat with this knife unless I'm just hunting or something. But even then, I would buy a different knife to use out in the field. The point of all this is, Nadia, you said, why can't we use one software to do all of production? And I'm going to tell you that you can, right? ProPresenter 7 has a live streaming option. You can go live straight from ProPresenter 7. It's brand new. I haven't played with it. But when you do that, number A, you're going to be streaming and presenting from the same computer. That is very resource intensive. And I'm sure ProPresenter has optimized their software so it uses the least amount of resources and causes the least amount of hiccups, but you're still streaming it from the same computer. Letter B, I am always wary of Swiss Army solutions because what you end up with is you end up with a 3-inch blade, and this blade is never, I don't even know if this is 3 inches. This blade is never going to get any bigger. It's going to be really hard to cut large things. And you also end up with a, I don't know, let's just say 1/8 screwdriver. And it's never going to get bigger. I can't put another one in it. I cannot expand it. So if I have a larger desk bolt to screw in or something like that, I can't use this. And I got to go out and buy that tool anyways. And so when you talk about one software that does everything, your website can live stream, your website can host media, your presentation software can live stream, or your live stream software can do presentations, and you're splitting scenes. These tools are made for one specific purpose. And it's nice if it's a T-shape where it does one thing really well, and then it does a couple other things okay. But when you search for that giant block-based software, what you're going to find is it does every job half as well. And so the reason why we want to use separate softwares and especially separate computers is because each tool is specifically designed to do one thing and do it really well. It's why our cars don't come with toasters, because it would be a crappy toaster. Okay? They do cars, they do motors, they do interiors. They don't do kitchen products. Okay? I know it's kind of silly. So we want a streaming software that does streaming because you're going to get dedicated support if you have any streaming issues. Right? They're not split between that. You can get nice things like when we talked about with Doug Doppler, he said, Ecamm has great audio recording. You can get some really good audio recording out of Ecamm. It's not an audio recording software, but it's really good at it, and it just happens to be that way. But if you call Ecamm or email Ecamm with your audio help, they can help you within the confines of Ecamm, but they can't help you as far as like audio mixing or anything like that. You need to go to an audio mix software. And so the same thing with that, Zoom can live stream, but we get things about Zoom all the time. How do I do this? How do I do this? The answer is get a live streaming software. You can't make Zoom do everything because it's a meeting software, not a live streaming software. So Nadia and anyone else watching, you say, why can't I just get a Swiss Army knife software? You can, but again, we don't recommend it because it's only going to be good for a few things. This is really good for small cuts, quick screws, and don't read into much in that. And little things that I got to pull out with pliers or something like that, splinters or stuff stuck in a hinge. But when I want to actually cut something or when I actually assemble or disassemble something, I am looking for the proper tool. And when I want to stream and stream well, I'm going to use a streaming software like Ecamm Live. If I'm on PC, I'm going to use vMix. And if I want to go do presentations and do good presentation building, slides, transitions, media playing, Bible verses, importing CCLI. I'm telling you right now, you're never going to find a streaming software that has CCLI integration like ProPresenter or EasyWorship or any of those. Right. They do because they are so focused on presentation stuff. So it's tempting, especially as a non-techie. I want something that does everything, but you're going to do everything half as well. Just like we say, you want to get 2 separate computers because each computer will do the job fully instead of like my computer, I'm starting to sweat. It's so hot in here. My computer's so hot. Just having ProPresenter idle in the background. Dave, you have any further thoughts on that?
Well, I would encourage Nadia. You said, let's see, I am so non-tech savvy. Don't let that be your excuse. I want to encourage you. You almost sound like you're using it as an excuse to not do good. And I just want to encourage you that any skill out there you can learn. I mean, within reason, right? I mean, I can learn how to play basketball, and I can learn how to play basketball really well, but I may not ever end up being Michael Jordan or, LeBron James or one of those people. But I could learn.
It's LeJean Brames.
Okay, I could learn the skill of basketball playing, and I could learn the skill of the proper layup and things like that. I'm not going to be great at it, but I can learn how to do it, and I can tell you that these are just skills. That's all it is. So I could sit down with you in about an hour, and you and I could get up to speed on ProPresenter. And you and I could sit down and get up to speed on Ecamm and how to connect your camera. And I can get you up to speed on how to white balance your camera and how to manually focus and how to set the exposure and things like these are all just skills. So don't fall into the trap of saying, I can't learn this, because if that's the case, then number one, you might as well go away and live in the woods somewhere and eat berries or something, because I know that you can learn this.
She's got your commenting on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's so far ahead of so many people.
Exactly. So, it may seem daunting, but that's why we're here. That's why Ecamm made the software that they made. They did it on purpose so that someone who is thinking that they're non-tech savvy, they could still get up to speed and get going. Now we're just going to do a little bit more and take you to the next level. So don't fall into that trap. It's a skill and you can learn it. I believe in you.
And something along the same lines, Sydney said, I'm new to all this and we have a small church and I'm by myself and I really need help. The good news is, Sydney, you're never really by yourself. We have something called the Church Training Academy Insiders Program. Go to churchtrainingacademy.com/join. We normally don't do this during the show, but Sydney's here, Nadia's here. There's probably several other people that are so overwhelmed. You are not alone. There is a community of people just like you that want to do the best job possible, and we've gathered them all in the CTA Insiders Program. This is where you can get access to me and Dave and ask your technical questions, and we also do masterminds 4 times a month where you can actually Zoom with us, ask your questions, share your screen, share your setup, and get stuff going. There's nothing like it, and in this tech space for churches. So go to churchtrainingacademy.com to learn more about that. churchtrainingacademy.com/join. Anything else, Dave, before we wrap up?
I think we nailed it. Good job.
Awesome. It seems weird because, we're the tech guys and it's like, how does the gospel move through us? We are eliminators of distraction. And when we do our jobs right, people don't notice. What they do notice is the gospel. So take everything that we've talked about today, implement it, and go change lives.